Alright, shed update time. Looks a little bit different. Looks a little more like a car. Got the front clip all bolted up. Went sort of okay, sort of frustrating. It's whatever. Some stuff seems to be fitting up decent. Other stuff seems to be fitting about like it did when it was new. And that means it's fitting terribly. So this is all decent up in here, sort of. And then, you know, this door's never been off the car, and this is pretty abysmal. At least I don't think it's ever been off the car. Width of gap. Width of gap. Not great. But that's kind of to be expected. So, I've gotten this piece of trim and this piece of trim on. That's been today's project so far. Had to kind of make some D-shaped holes in the front there. And then kind of locate this utilizing sketchy garbage template made of that fender and my best judgment as to where it's supposed to land. So seems to be all right. It fits already better than the green car ever did, both trim and panels, which is not saying much. This always bothered me on the green car, and this one does the same thing. So I think what I'm going to do here, there's a clip right here, and if I make another one that's not just a snap-in clip, it's got like a screw on it, then that'll suck that in and hold that. So that should be good, but not too worried. This side is going to be a bit more of a job, because for one, none of this really fits all that great, but they don't normally. The bigger problem is going to be this. Yes. Because this got bonked at some point here, and it didn't really look too messed up because the other fender was all bulged out. So when I put a non-bulged fender onto this, then this sticks out. So I'm going to have to mess with that, because that's a little bit more than I really want to live with. So, all in good time, I guess. Hood, relatively straight. Still sits low along the back, because, you know, that's just what they do. It's also bent a little bit at the very back there. You can probably see, but I don't know. I'll probably prop a 2x4 and try and close the hood on it, and if that doesn't fix it, then nothing's gonna, because it's kind of tricky to straighten that out without just mangling everything. So we will see about that, but happy with the progress so far. Definitely a little bit disappointed in just how rusty everything's getting. I'd like to think I was fairly careful with my handprints, but I guess just moving it back and forth between behind the car and in front of the car however many times, even after I wash my hands, still a little rusty. I'm worried to see what the rest of the panels are gonna look like after all the sweaty manhandling we did to bolt it all together. I can already see some of the stuff starting to come, so we will have to sand all that off, which is a little disappointing, but it's to be expected. So that is what I am working on. Fun times. I think in order to give myself a little encouragement, I'm going to drill out all the square-shaped holes for the Lark badge on this side, because this side is fitting reasonable and I can. So I'll get that on there just so it kind of looks nice and it, you know, doesn't seem so hopeless. And then we will go onto the other side and try and straighten that out, likely unsuccessfully. Another thing I also noticed, valance panel on the bottom, when sitting on the concrete, it doesn't look that terrible. When bolted up to the car, it looks horrible. So that needs more work. Kind of bent it back where it sort of was sitting before because it just looked terrible where I'd straightened it to, and then that happened. So, not sure what's going on there. I'm a little bit at a loss. We will have to do some general swearing and screwing around to make that a little better. Again, not really trying to make a showpiece, but it just looks terrible. So we're gonna have to tidy that up. But all right, back to the grind.